Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching the replay, this is the No BS Business Women Q&A with Corinne. It happens on the second Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. Central Time here on my business page. So if you're used to hearing me talk about weight loss, today we're going to talk about business. And if you want to one day be able to either work with me with business, if you want to see any exciting offerings I might have coming up this summer, if you want notices of when I go live and any other little tidbits that I'm going to be sharing over the next few months, just need to go to nobswomen.com and we will get you all hooked up there. So you can get on a list to get started. All right. Let's make sure that everybody can hear me. And if my team will let me know that I gave out the right website address. I'm still getting used to all of our new website addresses, so I don't want to be giving out the wrong one on here. Now, so today you get to ask questions, and you only get this opportunity once a month. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me while we are waiting for people to come on in and people that are going to want to ask questions. So I am Corinne Crabtree, as I stated. My business is the No BS Weight Loss Program. We are over 13,000 members now, and we just finished a major launch where we welcomed in over 2,000 new members, which is exciting. But I'm like many of you. I started my business 15 years ago, and I just had a passion and a desire to help other people lose weight. I had lost 100 pounds, and I had done it in a way that I had never done it before, which means I had tried lots of diets and I knew what didn't work. And just like many entrepreneurs, once I figured out what I was so sick and tired of not having in a weight loss program and figured out what I needed, I wanted to be able to help other people do the same thing. So one of the things that I want to share today that's really important when you are starting your business, if you want to figure out how to make yourself unique in the business space, it is simply this. You think about, what is it that I know and that I love doing? Like, what is my passion? What is something that, like, I know how to do it? I know what I would want to teach. I could talk about this shit all day long. And so you want to kind of take what it is that you know and that you love, and then you want to ask this question. And I think it's really smart. I actually got this from Marie Forleo. I was looking at some stuff that she was doing on YouTube. I think Marie Forleo is a great person for a lot of you to follow. It is, what is it that my customers wish they had? So like if you're in the diet industry, like for me, I wanted someone to help me like get over the hurdle of believing. Like I knew a lot of things to lose weight, but God, I was so hard on myself and I would beat myself up. And it just felt like every diet felt like a punishment. And I just wanted to lose weight easy. And I just wanted to feel better. And then the second part of the question is, what pisses my customers off? Like when you were solving your problem, if that's what you're starting a business around, when you would go out, what pissed you off? So I was sitting there thinking about this morning. And one of the things that always pissed me off about diets is they would say they're going to help you and they don't help you. Like you get in, like right now, if you join Weight Watchers, if you join Noom, if you join these things, they say they have coaches, but they don't really have coaches. They have bots, they have automated scripts, they have like, I feel like they're going through the motions, but if I need a lifeline and a human and somebody who gets it, you just couldn't get that. And so when I was building my business, I was really trying to address two major needs that I knew people who were losing weight were going to need, that I couldn't find anywhere else, but I found within me, which is these ladies need to learn how to talk better to themselves. They're never going to get anywhere if they don't know how to talk better to themselves. So I knew that was going to be a key component of what made me different than the weight loss industry. And the thing that pissed me off, and was pissing clients off all the time, was that when they needed help, they just couldn't get it. They could get automated help. They could get, I would call Kool-Aid, cookie cutter help and stuff, but they couldn't get human. And they couldn't get that feeling of like, we're in this together, true community. So when I created my business, it was going to be on those foundations. It's also what I enjoy. I've always loved bringing people together. I've always enjoyed, I'm kind of an extrovert. I've always enjoyed that part. I like talking. So I just made sure that I created my business around what I love doing and what I knew my customers would love. Now, that also means that you are going to alienate a lot of people. There are going to be people who don't want to believe in themselves. They just want a food plan. Well, they go somewhere else. You're going to the thing that you want to remember is that through pushing away the right people, you are going to be happier doing your work, showing up for people who are going to be very happy to have it. That is a beautiful combination to have. So 15 years ago, that's how I started. All free stuff on the internet that I could find. I didn't pay for anything in the very beginning. I had $0 to invest. We didn't have any money for me to start a business. All I could do was I had a laptop that from a past job, they didn't even want that thing anymore and they let me keep it. It was so busted. But I found free shit on the internet. And this was even before we had Facebook. This is before we had Google. We just didn't have a lot of resources, but I was crafty. I knew that I wanted to help people. And I just kept that in my mind. For several years, my business did not make any money. I had what's called a jobby, which is what my friend Chris Plackey says is a combination between a hobby and a job. Now, I did that for a long time. I did love working. I was bringing in some money, but it was costing me just as much to run the business as it was to bring in some money. And I made a decision in 2015 that I was no longer going to have a jobby, that I was actually going to turn this into a real business. That meant I had to start making decisions on how much was I really going to charge. Maybe that was going to piss some people off that I had in my membership at the time who was like, I don't want you to grow. I want you to stay really small. I want it to just be the 100 of us for the rest of our lives. But I knew that I wanted to help more people. So I had to start thinking about my business like a business. So I did all of that. And it took me from 2015 to 2022 to build the business that you have in front of you now. From 2007 to 2015, I did learn a lot. And if I could change one thing, it would be that from the very beginning, that I would have taken my business seriously and not think poorly of myself, like I didn't have enough to offer. Okay, so let's get started. Who has questions? I want to go ahead and start answering them. I have a group coaching membership for moms. I give a short workshop each week and then open it up for Q&A and coaching. Very few people want to be coached. How can I change that? The first thing that I would do, a lot of times people don't understand what coaching is. All of us coaches who are in the coaching business, we just think everybody's going to know what that's like. So if very few people are wanting it, what I would do is I would start off with the questions. And then as you're answering questions, instead of saying, who wants to get coached? One of the things that you could do is, who would like to come on live to ask their question? So that's a really good way of starting it. So if you have members who are willing to come on live to get their questions answered, then what you can do is you can start coaching them there. And then when it's finished, say, this is an example of what coaching looks like. Even teaching your members what coaching is all about. A lot of times people don't want to come on and get coached because they're going to have shame and they're going to have fear. So another thing that you can do is you can ask your members, you can just send out something and say, I really would like to, here are the benefits of getting coached. And you need to make sure that when you list the benefits, how is their life going to change if they're willing to get coached? And then ask them, what do you need from me to want to do this? Do you have fears? Just start asking them, why don't they want to do it? Sometimes it's that people just don't want to come on camera. Sometimes people just don't know that it can make a difference. They don't understand it. So maybe explaining it would help. You can even inside your membership, you can create a small video about like what is coaching. It's basically you're going to come on, you'll ask your questions, and I will help you find the answers. Just making it simple like that. I think as coaches, sometimes we get so caught up in our speak and like we know it's great and stuff, and then we talk over the heads of our clients. So really breaking it down for them could be helpful. I am 6 weeks into the Life Coach School and coaching my ass off on a complimentary basis. How did you move from giving free coaching into making an offer to receive payment for coaching? It's super simple. You have to start just asking them to pay you. So if you need to stop giving away your coaching at this point. If you've already been doing it, and you've already been, like, if you're ready to train, like, whenever you're ready to stop your complimentary coaching, like, it's really simple. Like, I was doing it for free for a little bit. And then I decided one day, like, I need to get paid to do this. Like, I'm sitting here 3 and 4 hours a day talking to people all day about weight loss. And it's probably time that I get paid a little bit for this. And you have to just start asking and no longer giving it away for free. Like, how you do that is quite simple. You never send out another email, or you never ever do another post where you're going to do it for free. You just start saying, here's how much it costs. Now, when you start charging, people are going to ask you questions about it. They're going to be like, well, why should I pay you money? Like, you're going to need to start selling. But this is the reason why so many of us get caught up in doing free coaching all the time, because we're afraid to sell. At the end of the day, we don't know how to sell. Well, the only way you're ever going to learn how to sell is start putting your shit out there and answering questions. And then every single time somebody has a question and every time somebody tells you no, you learn one more thing you don't know yet that you need to change in order to help someone come to the decision that the two of you can help them get their goals. Another thing that ends up happening is we just get so worried that we won't have anybody to coach if we're not doing it for free. Well, if you really want to just be philanthropic like that, then just make that decision. But I guarantee you that when people pay you, it's better for them and it's better for you. You show up with a whole new energy when there's a money exchange. They show up with a whole new energy when there's a money exchange. I know there are people out there that can't afford coaching. That is why you can do podcasts. That is why you can have free resources. When I think about my body of work, I know there's going to be people who can never afford to work with me. That is why I have a podcast. It is why I have a free course. I put those resources out there, but I can't help as many people as I want just doing it for free. I also, because I'm not going to be, if I'm doing it for free, guess what I can't do? I can't run ads so that people who don't even know who I am can find me. If I was only doing it for free, I would have to depend on word of mouth. Well, guess what? Humans are fucking lazy. I have banging baller shit. Banging baller shit. People do recommend me sometimes. But people just don't think about like, oh, I have this amazing podcast. Quickly, I need to figure out how to share this, how to tell the world about it. Organic marketing is fine. And I think it's a viable tool, but you have to work. There's a lot of sweat equity that goes into organic marketing. And you're asking your people to like find you. You're asking your people to share you. You're asking your people to be your marketing department. I don't want my people to have to be my marketing department. Is it great if they do it? Yes. But at the end of the day, when I charge for what I have, I know that I am going to be able to market to tons of people in the world who would never find me otherwise. And a good percentage of them will never pay me, but their life will change. And a good percent of them will pay me so that I can find even more of them. Let's see. How do you get over your thinking and getting started with your business? That's a big loaded question. So, like, how do you get over your thinking? First, you got to get aware of what your thinking is. Like, whatever your thinking is, you got to at least know where you're starting. Like if you know that your feelings are afraid, scared, nervous, and whatnot, then you ask yourself, what do I keep telling myself that generates that feeling? And then when you know what you're telling yourself, you have to just question it. Is it even really true? Is there anything else possible other than this horse shit I keep telling myself? Is it like one of the things that I tell people all the time is, are these things I'm telling myself, my fears, my worries, my anxieties, is that worth not having my dreams and just going for it? Is it worth the person who's waiting for me to get off my collective ass to change their life? Is my personal anguish so valuable that that person should stay in pain too? We both should be in pain. I should sit around and worry that I can't do this. And I should sit around and worry that someone's not going to like what I have to say. And I'm going to sit around and worry that things won't work out. All the while, my client, who I say I'd love to help, it's like, you don't want to help them. You don't want to feel bad is the truth. If you don't want to feel bad, get out there and learn how to help people so you can feel good about whose life you're changing instead of sitting around feeling sorry for yourself that you ain't ready yet. That's how we get over it. In business, I will tell you, in business, I spend a lot of time thinking about my client. I spend way more time thinking about her discomfort, her pain, her needs, and her dreams than I do my own. And that is by design. When my brain wants to be afraid, and trust me, it does, you don't spend the kind of money I spend on marketing and not sometimes want to throw up in your office. But I always tell myself, my doubts and fears are inconsequential to the person who's sitting there right now believing she can't have what she wants. I know she can. So my fears are no longer as important as hers. That's how you get over your shit. You stop thinking about your shit and you start thinking about theirs. And that's what it takes in business, especially if we're coaches. Coaches, for fuck's sake, you know how to do your self-coaching. Stop making your shit personal. If you're at the life coach school, if you go to their school, and you're going to Mastermind, you're getting a speech on this at Mastermind from me. I was writing it this morning as my presentation about quit making things personal and start making it about your client. Every time I always tell myself, I got 20 minutes a day, first thing in the morning, to whine, bitch, and moan about my day. I can dread my work, I can be afraid, and I can doubt myself. During this 20 minutes when I'm journaling, you know what I'm doing the rest of the day? I am thinking about my client. I am thinking about my team. I am thinking about how I'm going to change lives, and I'm getting to work on it. I'm not indulging in emotional shit anymore. We save that for the next day. Ideas to engage your email list to get them to want to book a consult. Yeah, so you need to think about what is what is it that your client wants to hear about your consult? Because this is the thing. Nobody wants to get on the phone with you. Think about it. How often do we even answer our phones anymore? I never answer my phone. Ever. I don't want to be on my phone. Everybody wants to text. Everybody wants to do this. So if somebody's actually going to get on the phone with you, you have to make it sexy. Tell them what we're going to accomplish. Don't tell them how long it's going to be. Don't tell them you're going to take them through a process. Don't bore the fuck out of them. Think about, spend some time with this is my iPad. Spend some time with some paper. I do all my stuff in my iPad. And write about your consult calls. What are the top 10 things somebody would bring to a consult that they would love to solve? And then when you write an email, you're like, start it off just like this. Are you sitting around thinking you can't XYZ? Or you can start it off with, Have you ever caught yourself daydreaming about blah? If so, that is the exact thing I can help you with. Tell a personal story. Here's how I solved it. Here's what it was like for me. And then here's where I am now. And maybe give them one thing that you changed. This one thing I did made a big difference. It was, if you are this person, get on a call with me and I will help you work through it. Click here to schedule an appointment. Most of y'all, what you're doing is you're just like throwing your consult links in there, like just like click here to get on a call with me. Your call is not valuable. Your call to someone feels like an appointment they dread. They want to know what you're going to fix. They don't want to know about the problem. They want to know like, oh, I could feel this way. Oh, you actually can give me a tip just in this email. You've got to make every email sexy. I was telling my team this the other day. And I think we already write pretty fucking good emails, but we're fixing to take it to the stratosphere. I want that when somebody sees an email from me, they think, I got to open this. And I don't even care if it's don't forget your call is coming. Don't forget. We are going to be up-leveling every single email that we send out because I want every single one of them to feel like, I can't wait to open this. There is a gift in here. Even if I'm getting a Zoom call reminder, I want there to be something in there where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I read this. Think about your emails. Do they feel like a gift? Do they feel like somebody is sitting there going like, thank God I opened this. This helped me today. I never want to miss their emails. When that happens, guess what happens? If your email is that fucking good, I can't even imagine what spending 20, 30 minutes on the phone with you must be like. So it's important that you're writing it in a way that somebody feels like this is amazing. Aside from size, what's the main difference in one-on-one versus group coaching? Are there skills you should develop to effectively run a group call? Yeah, there are some different skills. So when you're doing one-on-one, like when I think about one-on-one, you are really addressing this one person. When you're doing a group, you start switching over. We do just like a little bit more than like just talking to the one person. So you have to kind of think about when you're talking to a group, you're going to be doing a little bit more teaching. So when I'm doing one-on-one coaching, there's not much teaching going on. When I'm doing one-on-one coaching, I'm doing a lot more probing, asking questions, and trying to help that person come to their own insights. To when I think about like working with somebody one-on-one, I want to make sure that they have the skill of finding their own insights. When you add a bunch of people to the mix, you have to remember that you may be coaching someone one-on-one on a group call, but you've got to learn how to apply it to everyone because not everyone is in the same place. So you shift in one-on-one to not only being able to probe and ask questions, but then you're going to have these moments where you want to make sure you spotlight things that just happened because the group, like even if this person's having wisdom, it doesn't mean the rest of the group have the wisdom because they're not emotionally in it like the one-on-one person. So there's a lot more of teaching that happens. You want to make sure that if the person says something that the whole group might not understand, you're going to want to explain the concept briefly. Sometimes like when they have a shift, you want to show everybody like, this is how this happened. Notice their body language change. This is going to work for them. And also when you're doing group coaching, somebody may be having an amazing insight and an amazing thought. And what you want to remind everybody is how to check in. Like maybe that doesn't work for you, but let's figure out like pay attention to what will work for you. There's also just a lot of when you're doing a group, making sure that you're keeping the entire group engaged. So there's just some tricks and hacks that go along with that also. I am having an issue branching out from just my region and local area. I would love to reach ladies on a larger scale. How did you grow the business beyond just Nashville? My business didn't start in Nashville. It was always online. So I didn't really have to branch out of Nashville. I started, like, my first client was in God, where was she? Maybe she was in Washington. I can't remember what state she was in, but the majority, like, I didn't have any Nashville clients when I first started. In fact, the first 10 people that I worked with were all online. None of them were from Nashville. They were from all over. So, one of the best ways to branch out of your region or local area is start running some ads. If you want to reach people on a larger scale, there's nothing that gets you larger scale than ads. If you are online, then, making sure that you have an online presence, it just depends on what you're doing. Promoting a podcast. What have you found is the best way? I'm emailing my list and I'm considering using Facebook ads. We have run ads to our podcast before. I don't suggest that in the beginning because it's a little like you're not going to be able to get their email address and all that kind of stuff. Before you run ads to a podcast, you need to make sure that your funnel is very strong and heavily promoted in your podcast, in the description, like in all the ways, like in your intro, outro, all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that the people who are listening to your podcast will be compelled to go sign up for your free thing or whatever they need to do to get on your email list. That's the downside of running a podcast ad. Also, just running ads to your podcast to get more listeners doesn't mean you're going to get the right listeners, and it doesn't translate to money. Just translates to more people listening to your podcast. For you to make money off of your podcast is an important part of your funnel. It is a way to warm people up. So the way that we think about it is we run ads to our free course first. And then inside of our free course, we promote the podcast so that if they decide not to work with us, so when somebody takes the free course for the first time, they have a 5-day window to join No BS. And then if they decide not to join No BS, which the majority of the people don't, we promote the podcast after that. So then we start teaching them how to subscribe, how to download, how to share, how to find it, all the things inside of our funnel. And then our podcast, its primary force is to be the place where people can get to know me better so that if they ever do want to, like when we have a big opening, that they've been listening to the podcast long enough to where like, I like your message. I needed time to get to know you, and I do. And now I would like to join. So I always think of the podcast that way. A lot of people think they're going to start a podcast and just start making money. That is not how it happens. Podcasts just don't make you money. Podcasts, I think of them as this way. Podcasts are the way that when you have a strong funnel, you use it as a way to sufficiently warm your market up so that when you're ready to sell to them again, they know you, they like you, they trust you. It's more about that. Now, in terms of promoting your podcast, you do want to send your emails out to your list, but one of the best ways to promote your podcast is to get on other people's podcasts, get interviewed by people who have a similar size, a slightly bigger size. Look for people who have a decent size audience, but want to interview you, who have a complimentary market to you. Like I've been on Jill Angie's podcast of Not Your Average Runner. I've been on several parenting podcasts. I've been on different podcasts that their people would want to, like they have people in their market who would like to lose weight, but they don't specialize in that. And so they will send out, like they're going to market their podcast to you, and then they're going to hear you on that podcast, and then they'll probably start listening to you. So that's one way to promote. My business is a printed and online local publication. I love the creative aspect, but hate the sales part. I make money off of advertising. My husband is a master salesperson. I am not. He's been helping me, but now I need to take over the sales part. Any advice on resources? You could start, there's a podcast that I like to listen to. Let me give you a couple of good ones that are marketing podcasts. The Smart Marketer podcast with Molly Pittman. I love that podcast. I've been listening to it for a while. You could also listen to, hang on, let me get to my shows. I just started listening to a new one called The Undefeated Marketing Podcast with Philip Stutz. It's pretty good. Online Marketing Made Easy by Amy Porterfield is a gold standard. I would advise anybody and everybody to listen to that one. And let me see if I've got another one. Some of these, they're like hit or miss in terms of they don't always apply to the person in the very beginning. But I will tell you, well, let me tell you one that I loved. And it's not on right now, but there were 24 really good episodes, and I would highly recommend someone to listen to it. It's the Marketing and Influence podcast with Brendan Burchard. Those 24 episodes were really good. It was like a masterclass. I would totally say, listen to that. And then I would also, let's see, there's one more. The Hello 7 podcast with Rachel Rogers is really good. They stopped releasing, it looks like, let me make sure that I got this correct. Yeah. They kind of stopped releasing episodes in August of 2021, but a lot of the episodes were really good. So you could probably go through those and get a lot of really good things out of that podcast too. How do you navigate a business name change? I know you moved from PNP to No BS. Did you send out a notification or just do it? The first thing that I did was I did let my members know. We did not let the public necessarily know, but my members were very tied to the identity of PNP Tribe. And so before we started changing things on them, I really thought and wrote a lot about it. Changing us to the No BS Women was very important to me for several reasons. I did not want to use the word tribe anymore. It was horrible to try to explain to somebody that PNP Tribe was a weight loss community. There was no connection there. And so one of the things that I thought about when I was talking to my members about was that I really wanted them to buy in with me on my dream. So I talked to them about my mission. And my mission is to teach every woman how to lose weight for good, and to feel as amazing as she deserves. And I really explained to them that, PNP Tribe, although we loved it, I have the tattoo. I mean, like, I was all in on it. It was going to slow us down on teaching every woman how to lose her weight for good. When you can't even explain what it is, you already have a problem on reaching the one person who needs you the most. And I never wanted for some woman to not be able to lose her weight because she just didn't understand the name of my company. No matter how much I loved it, no matter if I had a tattoo and how long I'd been calling it that. So sometimes we just make tough decisions when we're going to brand. So the first thing that I did was I got behind it. I understood the purpose. I knew my emotional reasons. I 100% believed in it because the only way that I was going to get my members to believe in it was for them to know I was rock solid. Now, I lost some people. Some people did not like me giving up the name Tribe. Some of them didn't. It was just like one more thing. Like, I don't want to change, which is normal. I get that. In weight loss, we don't like change. And as humans, we don't like change. But I was so convinced of my mission and so convinced it was the right thing to do that when people left, I didn't freak out. I already knew that there was going to be some growing pains, but we were going to have growing pains. I wasn't just going to stay in the pain of thinking people aren't joining because they don't understand what this is. I didn't want that pain for me, and I didn't want it for my future clients. So we talked to them first about it. And then when we talked to them, we already had our logos. We already had everything together so that we could show them, like, look, this is who we are. This is what we're moving towards. And I was excited about it. I'm always a big believer in when you're going to present something new to someone, you want to present it to them with the most lush thinking possible. I know how human brains work. When change comes, our brain first wants to find the problems. And the way I wanted to present it to them is look at all of the benefits and the possibilities, because that's not where their brain would naturally go first. And I didn't want to put my members in the boat of having to figure out how to like something. I wanted to tell them why it's going to be easy to like it. And so that was like the first big piece. The second big piece was just swapping everything out, looking for it. We are 2 years in to trying to finalize the rebrand. Only things we have left are the URLs. They're the hardest things to change for us just because we have so much technology that runs our big platform. That's coming soon. But the URLs were the hardest part, but they're also the last. So we just changed everything else first. How do I market my coaching business more effectively? I am a money coach and see people ask questions all the time on Facebook about money, but you can't promote yourself in them. I also have a freebie, but my audience is small. Best tips for marketing. Yeah, when you're in those groups, you don't have to say, I'm a money coach, but if they click on if you're giving great advice, if they click on you, which is usually what people will do, if somebody is repeatedly showing up over and over and over again and offering amazing advice and never saying like, take my freebie or whatever, people get curious. They're going to click on you. And guess what they're going to do? They need to, wherever they go, it should be cave woman simple for them to figure out how to find you. Like your website should be all over your page. It should be a no-brainer. It should not be ultra cute. It shouldn't have scripty fonts and all this other shit y'all do to yourselves. If you wear glasses, go look at your Facebook page on your phone without your glasses. Can you read it? Try looking at try to check out at the grocery store and go to your web page. Go to your Facebook page on your phone. Is it easy to sign up for your shit? Does it make sense? Are the fonts big? Do you have like 5,000 words before you get to the point? A lot of us are making it way harder than it needs to be to get somebody to sign up with us. So you just need to make it clear, simple, and direct. What do you do and what button do I push? What am I going to get? That's all people care about. I think that we forget that the majority of our market is not sitting around at a computer and just reading things. That's how you work. But that is not how clients find you. Clients are living their life. They're usually like, go to the bathroom, take your phone with you, look at your shit. And you've gotten to the end of you peeing to sign up for something. Can you do it? If you can't do it by the time you finish pissing, guess what? You're losing customers. So one thing is to make sure that when you're in these groups, that you are giving extreme value. Extreme. Explain it. Ask them questions. Come back and answer their questions. Don't ask a question and then don't check back on social for a week. If you're going to use social to get people, you need to be on social. People know this is what a lot of you do. Well, I got boundaries, Corinne. I'm not going to be on social all the time, but I want to find my clients on the social. So I'm going to pop into groups, but I need 3 or 4 days of social break and blah, blah, blah. Guess what? When you talk to somebody on Monday, if they ask a question Monday night and your ass don't come back till Thursday or Friday, they don't give a fuck about you no more. You're gone. So if you're going to use social, you got to use social. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to get on social and define your self-worth and compare and despair and do all this other horse shit and diddle and buy shit and look and see what your high school buds are doing and all that stuff. Business social is very different than emotional social. Be business social. Don't sit there and be checking your likes all the time. Who gives a shit? If you're going to use social, get on there and create content. Get on there and give value. Get on there and talk to people. Don't make them wait. Otherwise, don't use social. I mean, shit. But a lot of y'all want to have boundaries around social because you're using it as a tool to feel bad about yourself based on what you're reading on somebody's worst day. Unfollow that bitch. Who gives a shit? If you're going to be building your business and you don't like what your personal feed has in there, clean that shit up so that when you go, the only thing you're seeing is all these groups where you're going to be giving extreme value. Unfollow every fucker that's just complaining about, their day, their job, their mama, or whatever. You ain't got time for that shit. But you got to make sure that you are responsive. Because here's the thing. Why would I click on your profile if it took you 4 days to respond to me? I'm going to figure you're the same when we work together. That if I need something, it's going to take, forever before you respond. You are establishing yourself as an authority. You are establishing yourself as to how responsive you are. You are establishing yourself as to how much you care. That is your first impression. We always say, a lot of y'all don't want to be on social and stuff, and then you don't want to spend ads. You don't want to spend money on ads. Look, then quit complaining you can't find nobody. When you are going to organically grow, you're going to pay with your time. You are going to spend more time on social. I don't have to comb through groups anymore because I pay for Facebook ads. And I've figured out how to do them over years. I've had times where I've lost a lot of money on them and stuff to figure out how to get the right person into my world who is a good fit for my members so that we aren't bringing in people we don't want. We're bringing in the person who's going to want the cussing, who's going to want the directness, who's going to want some sass, who wants to see Corinne in all her clothes. And yes, I'm still wearing leather if you were following me last week. I don't have to pay with my time. Now I get to spend my time with my members, the people who are already paying me. So you just have to think about those things. Looking back, what did you do first? Build a course, coaching, or both? Coaching. I didn't have a course until 2017, I believe. I don't know if the No BS came out in 2016 or 17, the course. But we even had a membership for years without a course. I just taught. We didn't even have Zoom. I mean, for fuck's sake, y'all think you got it rough. We didn't have Zoom. Facebook Live. The day Facebook Live went live, I went live with my members and was looking down at the camera saying, what the fuck does this thing even do? I didn't have all those fancy bells and whistles back then. So you can do however you want. I've worked with my husband for 7 years and I have a successful agency, but we want to have kids. And I think coaching and courses is what I want to focus on. I've been promoting coaching for the last 6 months and doing Facebook ads, but one person has bought. So I'm just rethinking through and creating a new offer. Yeah, you can do either one. If you've been running Facebook ads and only had one person buy, it's your Facebook ads. You're not bringing in your Facebook ads aren't targeting the right person for what you're offering. That's probably it. You need to just kind of look at it. It could be two things. It could be that your Facebook ads aren't targeting the right person so that when they see your offer, it's a mismatch. Or it could be that you've not written your offer compelling enough to where somebody's like, oh, this is what you said in your ad. This is what you're saying about your offer. They make sense. And I want that. What is a funnel? Well, that's too much for a Q&A, but if you will just go to Google and you will type in what is a marketing funnel, there are 1,001 free articles and things that will talk to you about what a funnel is, how to set up a funnel, a basic funnel. Basically, a funnel is just where if you go to my free course and you sign up on the weight loss side, once you give me your email address, you drop into my free thing. And it's called a funnel because you put a lot of people in up top. So think about how a funnel looks. So lots of people are dropped in at the top and only a few drop out to be a client. And so at the top of the funnel, you're just trying to put as many people in as you can to see as they go through your email sequences and they get your free things, how many of them are a good fit for you. And you are a good fit for them. That's the basic explanation of a funnel. My farm business in New York is seasonal. I'm great at communicating with our in-person customers via social and email, but I'd like to have another income stream in the winter off season. How can I leverage my existing skills and broaden the reach to include people that aren't local to my business? that is just something you'll have to think about. Like, so the way that I do things is I will sit literally, let me just show you paper instead of my iPad. I will sit and you have a great question. How can I leverage my existing skills? I would probably write all of your skills. What are all the things that I know? What are all the things I could help people with? What are all the things that I could teach? And then if you say you broaden the reach to include people that aren't to my local business, if I was going to teach them, how would I find them? How would I deliver that teaching to them? Would I be consulting? Would I be creating an ebook? What would I be doing in order to do that? Come up with tons and tons of ideas based on things you know, things that you could help people with, problems you could solve, and then do that. That would be like the first step that I would do. It's just, I always call it good questions, get good answers. You have an amazing question. How can I leverage my existing skills and broaden the reach to include people that aren't local to my business? Who are the people you would like to reach? Where are they? Are they online? Are they not? Is this like, what is going to be happening there? Like, it's just allow yourself to think about it and write about it with nothing being a bad idea. And this is the other thing. You have to override your brain's natural tendency to say that won't work. First, just let your brain have as many ideas as it can. So you could spend like 20 minutes every morning thinking on that question and add to it over the course of a week or two. And then you kind of go back and you look at all the ideas. But at first, the first thing is you don't want to say like, well, that can't happen because of this. Just imagine that you could make anything happen. If you could make anything happen, what would it be? And then once the ideas are out, your brain now is not going to argue so much. And that's like the first way to get a lot of things. What is a good open rate for emails? So y'all are very lucky because my badass marketing bitch, Sarah, who is also in the chat, she left an answer for all of you. She's the one that does a lot of the marketing stuff. I work with her on all this, but let me give you her direct answer because she is the one that studies this for us. And we talk about these things all the time. This depends on your industry and open rates. This depends on your industry, and open rates aren't reliable anymore now that many email services block email tracking. We're looking more at clicks and replies versus open rates to determine the effectiveness of an email. Google email marketing benchmarks. So she wants you to type into Google email marketing benchmarks to see how you compare. But the best way to get people to open and click through on an email is to provide value, like I've been talking the whole time. And the metrics aren't going to help you with that. You provide value, 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 value. I recommend find out what your open and click through rates are now for your current list, and then work on just improving where you're at now. So I hope that was very helpful. If it was, make sure you say thank you inside the chat. Ask, how do you build engagement in your paid Facebook groups for your members? I have 3 women in my program and it's very quiet. I'm wondering, what do you do to offer value in your paid Facebook groups? How's it different from your free Facebook groups? I do not have free Facebook groups. We stopped doing those a long time ago. I did not find them valuable. My free Facebook group was a beast to run. People always want me to have a free Facebook group. So we just had a 1-week version because when we launch, we always have we'll have like a week version of a free Facebook group. It took 50 ambassadors, 20 members of my team to run it, to answer all the questions, to make sure that there was no selling, no promoting, to let people in, to kick out people who did not need to be there. That's why, like, for all of you who are wondering, why doesn't Corinne have a free Facebook group? Because Corinne is not going to be able to afford to have a staff of 70 people to do a free group. Now, in the early day, I've had a free Facebook group before. I did not find it to be super valuable. I found it to be a lot of management, and not many people converted because they never could understand the difference between the paid stuff and free. So that's just my experience with it. That was my experiment. I've had better results having very valuable emails a business page that has very valuable content, having my lives on the business page, but not having a place for people to just camp out and bitch and moan and me need to babysit them more than I even have to talk to my own clients. No, I'm not doing it. Now, when you are doing a paid group, usually you're going to have about 10% of the members are going to carry the load on conversation. So for all of you who have groups, it's going to be quiet primarily until you get to where you're about 100 paid people in there. I want you to think about that. And even if you had 50, you're going to have about 5 people who routinely comment and who routinely post. People do not live on Facebook. As much as you want them to engage and want them to do, they don't. Like, we even have subgroups inside of our membership. Now, our main group is like 13,000 people. It's real easy for it to be chatty just because 10% of 13,000 is 1,300 people. And we typically only have about 500 to 800 a day engaging at that level. So we don't have to, like, we just don't even try over there. What we do is we try to answer stuff for them because they're driving the conversation. We don't have to drive their conversation. When you're smaller, so like we have some smaller Facebook groups, we drive the conversation. Like, we will post things for them. Like, we will create a post that is like starts, if you're going to do anything to drive engagement in a Facebook group, the very first sentence of the post needs to say, respond to this post with an answer to, and it needs to be something simple. Or it needs to be a post that says, like, what are you struggling with today? In one sentence, tell me and I'll help you. It's got to be very directive. When people go into a group, they don't think about posting their shit for the world to see, especially in Facebook these days, because you've got to create a culture that's going to be safe. A lot of people don't even know when they're in the group versus on their personal page. We spend a lot of time teaching our members, how do you know if you're in the group and how do you know if you're on your personal page? So they're not accidentally sharing somewhere else. So it's just like, think about what is the intention that you want for your Facebook group. Do you want it to be a place where they can ask questions? Do you want it to be a place, like, what do you want it to be doing? But don't have expectations that it's going to be like 3 people in a group and you're just going to be busy all day long talking to them. They probably got a job or some life. They're not going to be in there all day. At best, most people are going to log on maybe once a day, and most people on Facebook probably log in every few days. So you just want to make sure that the content's relevant. A lot of times you're going to be the one posting. You never know, like, if you're posting, people may be reading and changing. There's also something else in memberships, especially with Facebook groups. You have like different categories of users. So you're going to have like your power user. That is like in our group, Carla, who is on this call, she's what I would call a power user. Cammie, power user. It's people that the membership is like. Ashley Taylor is a power user. I don't know if those people are on this call, but I know Carla is. I saw her. But you have people that are, not only going to share their life and their successes and their wins, but they're answering questions. They'll, they are going to like use your group and help you out because they're rock solid all-stars. Then you want to have another layer of people who are like your drive-bys. They are the people that come in and every now and then they're going to share some stuff, but they're not going to be regular. Like, everybody's not going to know their name, but they might remember some stuff. So you want to have a mix of people. Then you're also going to have what's called, it's a terrible name, but it's called your lurkers. These are the people that do not want to post in your group, but they check it regularly. They are your likers. Every now and then they'll leave a comment like, me too, or like following, or I feel you, or congratulations. They may leave a GIF every now and then. But the vast majority of your people are going to fall into that category. They're there to learn from what other people are commenting, to get inspired, to pick up nuggets and stuff, but they don't want to be social. And then you have a whole nother group. They are like never going to say a word. They're going to be a member. You're going to think that they ain't doing shit, and they're doing shit. They're just never telling you about it. About once a week, I'll have somebody post inside the Facebook group who's been a member for a while, never posted before, and they're like, this is my first post ever. I just want to thank Corinne. I've lost 50 pounds. I've listened to every word you've said. I read all of your posts. I just never post. So don't freak out like something's wrong. Like engagement is one of those weird things. Like all of us could get engagement if I posted my bare ass in the Facebook group. I bet that post would be like, wham, lots of people would comment, wham, lots of people would interact with it and stuff, but it didn't change anybody's life. It'd have high engagement. So when you're looking at engagement, you want to look under the engagement. Like meaningful engagement is what's important. You don't want just noise in your group. So really be thinking about meaningful engagement. And let me just tell you, there is no bare ass photo coming anytime soon for all of you. Facebook would take me out. I'm not a writer or communicator. That holds me back. Is there something that can help me with this area? Yeah, there's lots of courses and podcasts and things out there that can help you become a writer or communicator. I am reading a really good book right now that even my team doesn't know they're fixing to get it dropped on their head, but I want them to read it because I've been reading it and it's great. Hang on, I'll tell you the name of it. It's called Uncover Your Difference. Let me see. Oh, I keep trying to give you the title of the author. Let me see. There's got to be a way for me to see the information of this book, about this book. That's what I'm trying to find. Uncover your difference. Discover your unfair advantage, captivate the right people, and cut through the noise by Mira Kothand. So MEERA KOTHAND. I am like about halfway through. I think it's great. It will help you kind of dial in. So even if you are not a great writer or communicator now, that does not mean that you cannot learn. I didn't go to college. I don't know dick about copywriting. Like there was no education for Corinne on all of this. I have just read lots of emails. Sometimes I don't even want to know how many probably emails I sent out with tons of typos. Didn't make a lot of sense in the early days, but I just started writing because I knew that in order to reach my person, I was going to need to be able to write some. Maybe you're better on video. Maybe you're better on audio. Find ways that you do communicate now, or start studying ways to be a better storyteller, to be a better communicator. But that book is actually pretty good for a beginner. I think it's great. Even I'm reading it now and I'm getting a lot of value out of it. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. So I will see you again next month in April on the second Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time. If you would like to get information from me about any upcoming things that I might be teaching or doing or offering, you can go to nobswomen.com. Otherwise, please share this video if you got value. Please share it. This is a tip. When you go live, always tell people exactly what you want them to do. So if you got value, either share it on your page or tag someone you know that needs to hear this shit. Make sure that they don't miss it. All right. Otherwise, y'all have an amazing month. Get out there. Change people's lives, and then you'll change your own. All right. Bye, y'all.